But today is a day of mourning in Memphis where Tyre Nichols will be laid to rest. Vice President Kamala Harris will attend his funeral. Nichols' mother and stepfather invited the vice president after speaking with her on the phone yesterday morning, and the vice president accepted that invitation. The Nichols family also says the mother of Breonna Taylor and the brother of George Floyd will attend the funeral. Reverend Al Sharpton will deliver the eulogy. Last night, the family gathered with Reverend Sharpton at the historic Mason Temple Church of God in Christ in Memphis. That is where Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his final speech the night before he was assassinated.
Because we will continue in Tyre's name to head up to Martin's mountaintop.
Come on now.
Wow. That's why we wanted to start this right on this sacred ground.
Sacred ground.
This is holy ground.
Yes, sir.
And this family now is ours, and they're in the hands of history.
And Reverend Sharpton joins us now from Memphis, talking about that mountaintop speech on April 3rd, 1968, the night before Reverend Dr. King was killed. Reverend Sharpton, what did you say last night to the family? What comfort can you offer them around this horrible, horrible tragedy?
Well, the only comfort that I can offer them is that we will stand with them and fight in the name of Tyre and others to try and change the legal and legislative structure that deals with policing in this country. We are all united, including the family of Tyre Nichols, around passing the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. And I think that there is a new drive. I've been talking with my colleagues in civil rights leadership, as well as members of the Senate, to really try and push police reform in light of this. Last night, as you said, we had the press conference and family, and I stood at the spot where Dr. King gave his last speech. The next day he was killed. I'm standing in the building, the Lorraine Motel that is now the National Civil Rights Museum, where he was actually killed. My youngest daughter's with me. I showed her the balcony where Dr. King had stepped out of his room, headed to dinner, and a man blew his brains out. And to go into Memphis and think about Martin Luther King died here on a cold balcony in April of 1968, and we're here now where 5 black cops beat an unarmed man to death, and there's no federal legislation that really addresses this, shows the shame that we have of what has happened to Tyre Nichols. To think that Dr. King died to put blacks on the police force, and they're acting in as brutal a force as any racist police, is why we're here today, and I'm going to address that directly in the eulogy. I think it's befitting the first black woman, the first woman vice president will be there, because this building where Dr. King died showed how far we came from, as Joe was in Europe last week, where there was the human carnage to show how low we could be. Now we have to rise up together and fight this. We can't just accept it.
Reverend Mara Gay here. Nice to see you, even under these circumstances. You know, Americans of all backgrounds, and especially Black Americans, have watched this similar kind of tragedy unfold again and again, and you yourself have gone to be with families in this kind of pain again and again. Do you have any kind of 30,000-foot thoughts on the kind of the success so far of this police reform strategy? Do you feel like this is a moment to rethink that strategy, or is progress being made? Is this a situation where you just want to keep marching forward? Is there any thought right now about how successful police reform strategies are? As here we are again, just another family. It seems so piecemeal, I think, to so many Americans that we have to watch people suffer again and again while seeing an action on the Hill.
Well, it is very burdensome, and certainly for those of us that have been doing the marching and have been with the families, it does get to feel piecemeal. But when you think about in the state of New York, there is a state law against chokeholds, the Eric Garner law, and in other states we've seen there be statewide legislation. The failure has been national, and the strategy certainly is rethought every time we can. But the strategy is to put people in office that will vote for that. We came very close to passing the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. And I think that we must continue to put people in and to pressure those that are in. Some are now facing re-election in 24, that we may be able to get it now. Let's not forget, Mara, that even when we failed to get the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act after George Floyd, that we did get the President of the United States, Joe Biden, stepped forward and did an executive order around some of the same things that we wanted in terms of body cameras and other things that was in the George Floyd bill. Joe Biden signed that executive order. The Emancipation Proclamation by Abe Lincoln was nothing but an executive order until it became law with the 15th Amendment. So those of us that are in the struggle don't just wait on high-profile situations like this. We keep going. Every day. It took Dr. King, again, I'm in the building he was killed in. It took them from a 1955 bus boycott in Montgomery, 9 years to 64 to get the Civil Rights Act. This is not about a sprint movement. It's about a marathon. You run till you break the ribbon, and we're going to do that.
And Rev, we've been talking to you through the years, through one tragedy after another tragedy. And we've seen with Eric Gardner in New York, and we've seen with other tragedies, one after another, you making progress, civil rights leaders making progress. I'm curious, this tragedy, again, shifts the focus, as we've talked about, from race just a little bit in this case to say, okay, we obviously have to focus on racism in policing where there is racism in policing, but this really does turn the focus on the victim, and the victim being black, and the fact that no police officer would have done this to me when I was 29 years old, a middle-class white guy. Nobody, they wouldn't have dared, because they knew that if they did, if they beat the hell out of a 29-year-old middle-class white guy, that hell would rain down from above. Just would. That's the reality. So I'm curious. You know, we grow up and we learn about the social contract, what we all do, and being part of that social contract. We give up some rights and we pay taxes. In return, we're protected. I'm just curious. What do we do to make that social contract apply equally to 29-year-old black men like it does right now to 29-year-old white men when it comes to policing?
I think you raised a critical point, and you said to me minutes after we heard about this, you said to me on the phone, they would have never done this to me, which showed even black police officers treat blacks differently than they treat whites. Because you have 5 black policemen here who I don't believe would have done this to a white young man in Memphis, Tennessee. One, you have to fight them equally. You have to not just jump on it when it's white cops. We're here, and it is 5 black cops. And second, there must be equal protection under the law. That's why a major element of this George Floyd Justice and Policing Act is qualified immunity. Policemen need to know that they have some skin in the game, that they can be sued and they can be prosecuted. And the fact that this black police chief, a woman, fired them immediately before charges, the fact that they're now indicted and others are now being fired and probably indicted will show you will pay a price, and because you're black, you will not get a pass. We're here in Memphis against black cops like we were in Minneapolis against white cops. It's about police protecting and serving all of us.
Well, and just for everybody that's watching right now, nobody's really said anything about it. But, you know, Rev, you and I spoke that morning. You had told me that you were going to put out a statement. But it was interesting. There was a hesitancy for a bit from some civil rights leaders because they didn't know exactly how to respond to 5 black officers beating up and killing a black man. And you told me immediately that morning, doesn't matter. We have to charge forward and seek justice in this case just as aggressively as we do in any case, just as aggressively as we did in Minneapolis.
Absolutely. I didn't hesitate because, as you know, I grew up as a teenager in New York in Dr. King's movement. And Dr. King did not die in this building for blacks to have the right to beat each other to death, even if you're in a blue uniform. So there is no moral gap between what you stand for.
Yeah.
I was talking to Martin Luther King III about this. We have got to be consistent morally if we're going to get this country back on track. And that's why I think today's rally funeral, because the mother and father have been adamant that this is going to be about justice and changing laws. And I think that is why it's so important the vice president is here, because we need to make it clear this is about race, yes, but it's about reforming. And those even of our color need to know they're not of our kind.